What is up, you guys? Welcome or welcome back to my channel. Today I want to do a final this or that video for you guys because the Black Friday sales are going to be hitting soon. It's going to be like Cyber Monday, weekend, Black Friday, just all galore. And the nice thing is Chantecaille actually sent me my first PR package. I am ecstatic. And I didn't know how to showcase all the products. I figured it might be best to just focus on one of the products they sent me, a product that has been on my wish list for a long time. And what better thing to do is to compare to a product that is very similar in price, but also similar in usage, and see which one is better suited for you. Of course, I'm talking about the Le Camouflage STYLO by Chantecaille. This is a new product in my collection, but I did try it on yesterday. But of course, for this video, as you saw from the title, I want to compare it to the Victoria Beckham Beauty. There are a few things that we need to do to compare these two. So one, we're going to be looking at net weight and pricing. Also great to look at where they are made. And of course, their shelf life is incredibly important. I want to talk a little bit about what their claims are because both of these are skincare infused. And finally, I want to do a wear test with both of these to see which one is best suited for you. So let's get started. On this side, we're going to do Victoria Beckham Beauty, and on this side, we're going to do Chantecaille. So let's start with Victoria Beckham Beauty. I already did an in-depth review on this one alone. This one has 16 shades. I got shade LM1. It was a little bit difficult to shade match myself on the website, but the LM1 shade, I can make it work for me in the wintertime. I would argue it's a little bit too deep for me, so I would go with a shade lighter rather than darker when it comes to this concealer formula. It is described as a light to medium coverage product, and it should improve your complexion within 4 weeks. Some of the main claims are that the pen should diminish dark circles, decrease under eye puffiness, and improve the appearance of hyperpigmentation. For the sake of full disclosure, all I'm wearing on the face right now is my skincare, and I'm wearing this beautiful bronze tint. I did a video regarding these tints not so long ago, and all of the original tints in that video I've purchased myself, but they did send me a new bronze one because I finished it, and it's my favorite product of the entire Chantecaille line. I love this product. And this was also sent to me in the PR package together with the concealer and 2 other products, which I'll show in this video quickly and briefly as well. We're going to go into the Chantecaille one next because I like to let these concealers marinate a little bit to do some self-setting. The Chantecaille Le Camouflage STYLO comes in 7 shades. It's described as a light reflecting pigment that blurs the appearance of imperfections, while a sugar-based polypolymer helps plump appearance of fine lines. Anti-fatigue complex that works to lighten the appearance of dark circles and reduce the look of puffiness. There should be botanical-based brightening ingredients in here to help minimize the appearance of age spots. Another concealer infused with a lot of skincare. I feel like these two have a lot in common, but let's see how this wears. For the Victoria Beckham Beauty side, I'm going to use this concealer brush. This is the B05 Refer. I'm just going to stamp it in slightly. This one had a while to kind of marinate and sit on the skin. Then finally, for the Chantecaille side, I'm going to be using the Refer B01 brush. This is also the brush that I used yesterday, so that's why it's a little dirty. To match the coverage of the Victoria Beckham Beauty one, I'm going to go in with one more layer of the Chantecaille one. I'm going to ask you guys to come in close and compare the 2 sides without powder. Chantecaille also sent over one of their beautiful powders. This is the beautiful light medium perfect blur finishing powder. The true OGs know that this is the powder that I used to have. It's part of my favorites video. I want to believe in 2021 when I started this channel. But going back to the video, I am a combo skin type with oily leaning around the T-zone. So I do powder every single time. So it's just me doing my basic everyday makeup routine. And if I use concealer, I'll always use a powder. I'll show you guys what my face looks like with powder on. Something they didn't send me in PR, but I did purchase myself already on the sale. A little sneak peek of everything that I purchased on a sale is this trio from Chantecaille. I just had to purchase this. I'm just going to go in this little number and define my crease area. A little bit of contouring of the nose. Going into that lighter shade, and I'm just going to run it through my lids. Wearing the Jones Road mascara. Unfortunately, the mascara did leak a little bit, so I'm gonna leave that to dry while I apply my final product from Chantecaille that they did send me in PR, and that is this brilliant lip gloss in the shade Modern. Look how stunning this is. Also, the only lip gloss that I own that has kind of a brush tip instead of like a doe foot. Interesting application technique. I don't know how I feel about the application of that, but the gloss in itself makes my lips look extra plump and also feels very nourishing. So let's see how this all wears. So this is the final look. Of course, this side is going to be Chantecaille and the other side is going to be Victoria Beckham Beauty. To look at the time now, it is 11:36. It's been on since 11:30, the concealer and the powder. So I want to do a wear test. I'm hoping to do a 4-hour wear test, and let me think about it. I think I can do an 8-hour wear test, but it might be super dark. So I'm going to do a final wear test when I still have some natural lighting going, but we'll definitely see how everything looks in a few hours. Again, this one is Victoria Beckham Beauty and this one is Chantecaille. And coming in close, first want to focus on the pore areas. And because the Chantecaille one is more of a hydrating formula, you can already see that the pores are more accentuated on the hydration side. So you definitely see like the pore cavities, is that what you call them? A bit more. I find the Victoria Beckham Beauty one very blurring. What's almost not any different is the under eye area. The Victoria Beckham Beauty side is always going to be a bit deeper. It's just a deeper color. But the under eye area, I have to pull my eye a little bit just for this review. And you see that in these crevices, there is a little bit of product buildup right there. The lines, the brighter lines, that's where product likes to sit. You don't really see it from afar, so it's very minimal. And the Chantecaille side has the exact same amount of product buildup. I think out of the two of them, the Chantecaille side, because it's a bit more hydrating, it looks quite nice underneath the eyes. I think the Victoria Beckham Beauty side looks a little bit drying underneath the eyes. The way that I would fix this is probably use a less powder or no powder at all. From afar though, they look basically the same. This side, so this under eye bag, is always heavier than the other side. So naturally, I usually have a larger bag underneath the eyes than this one. So it is not a coverage issue. The coverage is about the same, and they both are light coverage. I think they're holding up really well. This is 4 hours in. The next 4 hours is definitely where you're going to see, I think, a larger difference, because although it's a more hydrating formula, my guess is that the hydration at some point will start to break down and potentially look a little oily or maybe crease sooner, but we don't know. Here we have my bathroom lighting. Very synthetic, but you can see so much more. Creasing, minimal, Victoria Beckham Beauty side, and look at the pores still intact. On the Chantecaille side, we're looking a little more glazed, pores a little bit more prominent, and the creasing a little bit more than Victoria Beckham Beauty, a little bit more buildup, but again, very minimal. Here's the thing, both of them are holding up fine, both of them are a lightweight formula, and both of them I would find incredibly acceptable. I think the Victoria Beckham Beauty held up a little bit longer because it's less hydrating, it's a little bit more mattifying. So future me has talked a little bit about the wear time. Let's talk a little bit about the rest of the information that I've given you. So we have the Chantecaille and we have the Victoria Beckham Beauty. Let's talk a little bit about price point and of course in comparison to how much is in here, so the net weight. I cannot believe I'm going to say this, but I think that the Chantecaille is actually a little bit more expensive than the Victoria Beckham Beauty. I was also a little shocked that the Chantecaille had a little bit less of net weight, because I find the net weight of both of these quite difficult to, in terms of price point versus net weight, I find them quite difficult to recommend. Now, the reason why you would go for a STYLO format like this one is because they're great. Both of these are very lightweight. I find that all of the concealer pens that I've tried are all very lightweight. And if you are maturing or you have mature skin, you're probably looking for a very lightweight formula that doesn't really crease. And of course, the skincare benefits in both of these, I can't deny that the claims are nice. If this actually does depuff and make sure that your under eyes look better, then why wouldn't you go for one of these? Let's talk about the shade range. The Chantecaille one doesn't really have a great shade range. I think the Victoria Beckham Beauty one has a bit better of a shade range, but still lacking a little bit. At the same time, I could find a shade in both categories for me and that have been able to work for me. I would say that the Victoria Beckham Beauty one is harder to shade match than the Chantecaille one, maybe because there are less shades in the Chantecaille one, so less to choose from. Both of these are lightweight formulas, light formulas, and if you want to build them up, you can build them up. Off the get-go and throughout the day, I will say that the Victoria Beckham Beauty one leans more matte, dries down a little bit more, whereas the Chantecaille is a bit more hydrating. There is a preference to both of them. Personally, my preference is going to lean to the Victoria Beckham Beauty one because it blurs out my pores. Even looking at it from the first hour, you can already see that this on me looks very beautiful and almost like filtered. I have quite large pores, and on the other side, the pores are much more defined. Now, that doesn't mean that this is necessarily better for you. Take into account that a lot of people do have very dry skin, dry under eyes, and they're looking for a hydrating formula. Hence, that this Chantecaille STYLO might be more suited for your skin type. Another thing to consider with these two, and I find this quite an important one, is the shelf life. So the Victoria Beckham Beauty one, made in Italy, but shelf life 6 months. Whereas the Chantecaille one has a shelf life of 12 months and it's made in France. So 12 months I'm able to work with. I find 12 months a very acceptable expiry date. 6 months, in my opinion, is a little bit too little. Now, of course, if this is your only concealer, you are going to burn through it and you can probably use it in 6 months. But if you're like me and you have a few concealers on hand, 6 months is quite short. In terms of preference, I kind of already talked about it a little bit. I personally would go for something like the Victoria Beckham Beauty purely because it makes my pores look much smaller, so it blurs out my pores. It has, surprisingly, a little bit more coverage, I want to say, in terms of buildability, and it just works with my skin type the best. But I understand why some people would like the Chantecaille one. It is hydrating, it is anti-aging, and it has really nice qualities to it. Both of these crease very little. For me, the Victoria Beckham Beauty creases very minimally, almost to none, depending on how much I use. And the Chantecaille one creases on me a little, but very lightly. I think one thing that has to do with that is that I have a very oily T-zone, and around my eye area, it is very oily as well. So like I said, it is important to note that skin type will probably give you a preference of the two. Both of these are expensive, both of these are skincare infused, and both of these are probably for the light concealer slash STYLO lovers. I think if you are a mature skin, you'll probably look at one of these and you'll probably be able to find one that really works for you. I hope you guys appreciate it and like this video. I want to thank Chantecaille for, again, sending me my first Chantecaille PR package. They did also send me a code, so I'm going to put the code literally everywhere for 25% off for all of these goodies that you saw on my face today. I'm a big fan of the brand Chantecaille. I'm a big fan of the brand Victoria Beckham Beauty. I'm not biased when it comes to these reviews. This is not a sponsored review, but it is PR. I also want to shout out to you guys. I know a lot of you guys have already purchased a lot from my links this month, and it's really appreciated. Like I said, everything that I earn from commission from the affiliate links down below, it's going to go back into my channel, and I'm hoping to create some beautiful content with it. I want to thank you guys all so much for watching. It is a beautiful day, a little bit rainy here in the Netherlands, but the sun is coming through. This is why the light is changing. Of course, I hope you guys have a beautiful, healthy day. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!